Picture this. You walk into a store with no intention of buying anything expensive. Maybe you just need one thing. But by the time you leave, your basket is full, your receipt is long, and somehow you don't feel that bad about it. You just tapped your card and walked out. No pain. No second thoughts. That's not an accident. That's by design. Credit cards are one of the most psychologically sophisticated financial tools ever created. And most people have no idea how deeply they're shaping the way we spend. Today, we're going to change that. Meet Alex. Alex is 27, works a regular 9 to 5, and just got his first credit card 6 months ago. Before the card, Alex was pretty disciplined. He'd check his bank balance before the weekend, roughly know how much he could spend, and stop when things felt tight. It wasn't a perfect system, but it worked. He felt connected to his money. Then the card arrived. A sleek piece of plastic with a decent rewards program and a credit limit that felt generous. Alex figured it would just be a backup, something for emergencies or online shopping. He told himself he'd pay it off every month. And for the first few weeks he did. But something slowly began to shift. Not dramatically. Not all at once. Alex started eating out a little more, bought a jacket he'd been eyeing, subscribed to 2 streaming services in the same week. Nothing outrageous on its own. But at the end of the month, when the bill arrived, Alex sat staring at a number that felt surprising. Not catastrophic, just more than expected. He thought, where did all of that go? Here's what was actually happening to Alex. When we pay with cash, something real occurs in our brain. Handing over physical money activates the same part of the brain associated with pain. Researchers have actually studied this. Paying with cash literally feels like a small loss. And that feeling, that slight discomfort, acts as a natural brake on our spending. It makes us pause, even briefly, and ask, is this worth it? Credit cards remove that brake almost entirely. There's no physical handover. No watching your wallet get lighter. You tap, you sign, you walk away. The consequence, the actual payment, gets pushed weeks into the future. And our brains are notoriously bad at connecting present actions to future consequences. It's the same reason people struggle to save for retirement. The future feels abstract. The new jacket feels real. But it goes even deeper. When Alex paid cash, every purchase was a direct, visible subtraction from what he had. With his credit card, his bank balance barely moved week to week. He felt wealthier than he was. That illusion of abundance is one of the most quietly dangerous effects of credit. You don't feel the money leaving, so you spend like it hasn't. And then there are the rewards. Points, cashback, miles. Alex's card gave him points on every purchase. Suddenly, spending felt productive. Every coffee was earning something. Every grocery run was building toward a reward. Spending felt like a game he was winning, even as his balance crept upward. So why are we wired this way? Why does simply changing the payment method change how much we spend? The answer lies in something behavioral economists call the decoupling effect. Normally, the moment of enjoyment and the moment of payment are linked. You hand over money, you get the thing. The cost and the benefit happen together. But credit cards decouple those two moments. You get the enjoyment now, and you pay later. And when payment is delayed, it loses psychological weight. It becomes almost theoretical. There's also something called pain of paying. Studies show that when people pay with credit versus cash for the same item, they consistently report lower feelings of loss, even when they consciously know the cost is identical. The brain processes the transaction differently based on how tangible the payment feels. Cash is tangible. A tap on a reader is almost invisible. And then there's what's known as the category budget collapse. When we use cash, we naturally think in buckets. This is my food money. This is my going out money. But a credit card doesn't have buckets. It has one large, flexible limit. So the mental guardrails disappear. Everything bleeds into everything else. Alex wasn't making bad decisions consciously. His brain just never received the signals that said slow down. The month Alex really understood this, he tried something different. He went back and looked at his last 3 months of credit card statements and compared them to the 3 months before he had the card, when he was paying with his debit account. The difference was uncomfortable, not ruinous, but clear. He was spending roughly 20% more on discretionary things since getting the card: restaurants, entertainment, impulse buys online at midnight. And the strange part? He couldn't remember most of it clearly. The purchases felt smaller at the time. Forgettable. That was the insight. It wasn't one big reckless decision. It was dozens of small frictionless ones, each made a little too easily. Alex realized the card hadn't changed his values. It had changed the environment in which his decisions were being made. And that environment was quietly, consistently nudging him to spend just a little more. So what do you actually do with this information? First, understand that the goal isn't to destroy your credit card. Used correctly, it can build credit history and even save you money on travel or cashback. The problem is using it mindlessly, and the solution is adding friction back into your decisions. One approach: keep a rough mental note of your weekly spending and check it midweek. Not obsessively, just enough to stay connected to the number. Another method some people use is setting up real-time notifications for every transaction. That ping on your phone after every purchase recreates a small version of the payment pain. It reattaches the action to the consequence. You can also try the cash envelope. Experiment for just 1 month on your highest spending category, whether that's food, entertainment, or shopping. Most people are genuinely shocked by how differently they behave when they physically see the money disappearing. It's not that you're suddenly better with money. It's that you've reconnected the feeling of spending to the reality of it. Here's the thing about financial tools: they're neutral. They're not good or bad on their own. But they shape the environment in which you make decisions. And when the environment is designed to make spending feel easy and painless, your instincts can't protect you the way they once could. Alex didn't have a spending problem. He had an awareness problem. And awareness, it turns out, is worth a lot more than any rewards program.